The South Today Bulletin, proudly brought to you in association with MoleMap, the skin cancer detection specialists.
Tonight on the South Today, a group of Otago University students on a mission to raise awareness of men's mental health. Restoration of a rare World War II aircraft in Christchurch gets a boost thanks to a special donation. And the Switzerland football team pack their bags to leave Dunedin as they advance in the FIFA Women's World Cup. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Dave Gooselink. A group of Otago University students have been putting in a marathon effort in an effort to raise money for men's mental health. Calling themselves the Heavy Breathers, the guys are preparing to run this year's Dunedin Marathon. Their overall goal is to help remove the stigma of men talking about their problems, a subject that hits close to home.
Taking steps in the right direction for men's mental health as the Heavy Breathers train for this year's Dunedin Marathon. This large group of 33 Otago University students are raising money for Misfit Productions as part of their efforts, with the goal of sparking conversations between men. They're concerned there's a stigma around men talking about their problems, their marathon efforts taking on extra significance after one of the group lost a brother to suicide.
We're kind of trying to show that we're a group, we're breathers down here in Dunedin, we're all mates and we can talk, and that means that everyone else can.
The guys have been training for the 42-kilometre marathon for around 10 weeks. They admit none of them were runners before this, but are confident they're almost ready for the big day.
I would say boys are tracking, and I can guarantee that no one will not finish, because that's just not what we're about.
The Heavy Breathers have already managed to raise over $50,000 for mental health through their Give a Little page. That's past their original goal, which has now been up to $75,000.
We're going to push ourselves to get there, and if we go above that, like we already kind of have to our last ones, then that's amazing.
The university students will hit the pavement for the Dunedin Marathon next month and hope their efforts will help encourage other men to speak up and look for help. In Dunedin, the South Today.
2 people were taken to hospital this afternoon following a motor vehicle crash in Mosgiel. Emergency services responded to the 2-vehicle crash at the intersection of Hazlitt and Schools Road in Mosgiel on Thursday afternoon. 2 occupants of the utes were taken to Dunedin Hospital, one escaping with minor injuries, with the other suffering moderate injuries. The roads were partially blocked to traffic while emergency services worked at the scene. Well, the restoration of an extremely rare World War II Vickers Wildebeest aircraft at Christchurch's Air Force Museum has received a much-needed boost. An equally rare Vickers Vincent plane has been loaned to the restoration team, which will help them speed up the historic aircraft's restoration.
2 rare warbirds sitting side by side. This World War II Vickers Vincent has landed on a 12-month loan to the Air Force Museum of New Zealand. An arrival that has seen the restoration team excited. They've been painstakingly restoring the equally rare Vickers Wildebeest, a plane that has been in the Wigram collection for more than 20 years. The 2 aircraft are identical in almost every detail. That means the team are able to use the largely restored Vincent as a 3D model to study, helping make the Wildebeest restoration project much easier.
We haven't been able to source any plans. We've got some photos and a few diagrams, so it's a little bit like having a 10,000 piece Meccano set, but you've got no instructions at all on how to actually put it together, so you've got to reverse engineer.
Marshall says both aircraft are incredibly significant to New Zealand's aviation history.
These are probably 2 of the rarest aircraft in the world. Beside us, I'm not aware of another Vincent, and as far as we're aware, this is the only Wildebeest in the world that currently survived.
The dual-controlled Wildebeest NZ-102 is the only surviving example of a dozen Wildebeest torpedo bombers, which were received new by the Royal New Zealand Air Force in 1935. The planes were used in a variety of roles, including aircrew training, general reconnaissance and coastal defence. The 15-man restoration team will focus on the restoration of the wildebeest over the next 12 months, with the target of putting the warplane on static display at the museum. In Christchurch, the South Today.
Well, standoff between secondary school teachers and the government may be coming to a close for now after years of demands over better pay.
Supporting teachers.
The Labour government's agreed to fund a $4.4 billion package to settle pay agreements for both teachers and principals. The government's accepted the recommendation of an arbitration panel for a pay rise of 14.5% spread over 3 instalments by the end of 2024. That offer would see beginner teachers receive an annual increase of almost $10,000 in addition to a lump sum payment of more than $7,000. Yeah. However, the recommended settlement is likely to also have a flow-on effect for early childhood and primary school education teachers if the offer is accepted. The Post-Primary Teachers Association says it's pleased to see the offer and will recommend that members accept it at a nationwide vote next week. Well, this week's windy, wintry blast caused problems around the region, including in Southland, where a 100-year-old pine tree crashed to the ground at a popular park. Invercargill City Council staff were out first thing this morning, clearing debris and inspecting the aftermath.
This team from the Invercargill City Council have their work cut out for them. Chainsaws and heavy machinery were out in force on Thursday morning, clearing some significant tree fall in Invercargill's Queen's Park. A 100-year-old pine toppled over on Wednesday, brought down by a combination of strong winds and very damp, wet soil.
Didn't know exactly what was happening, but then as I was walking closer, I was just like, oh, it's like the massive tree and it's actually fallen down in the high winds, and then it's gone over into the pond and that as well. It's just that's quite big.
The tree was a large one, the diameter of its root system branching over 6 metres wide. The councils asked residents to avoid the area surrounding the duck pond as they work to clear all the mess and assess other trees in Queen's Park for potential damage. It's possible other hazardous trees may be removed while the crew has machinery on site. Workers are also taking the opportunity to repair damage to the paths and drains around the pond, meaning the area will remain closed until the work is completed. In Invercargill, the South Today.
The Netherlands' thumping 7-0 win against Vietnam on Tuesday marked the end of FIFA Women's World Cup action at Dunedin Stadium. The Switzerland women's football team now say goodbye to their home base city after advancing to the next round of the tournament.
Switzerland players celebrating their hard-fought draw against the Football Ferns in Dunedin on Sunday night. The team have qualified for the top 16 phase of the FIFA Women's World Cup, placing second in their group behind Norway and ending New Zealand's World Cup dreams. But midfielder Kumba So says she enjoyed playing under the roof at Dunedin Stadium in front of around 26,000 spectators, most cheering on the Football Ferns.
I loved it. It was a great atmosphere at the last game. Everybody against you, so I think that motivates you even more.
The Swiss team arrived in Dunedin just before the World Cup began. The city's been their home base, training at the recently upgraded Tuna Park and staying at the Distinction Hotel. The players say they were delighted with the excellent conditions of the pitch and enjoyed their time exploring the city between games.
The people are really friendly, they're really open, they also respect our personal life. I kind of started feeling a little bit at home.
Switzerland had a final training session in the city on Thursday before packing their bags for the North Island to focus on their crucial game against Spain in Auckland on Saturday. In Dunedin, the South Today.
FI Akine still to come on the South Today. The Southland Stags have ambitious goals as they prepare for the kick-off of the NPC season, and hundreds of Canterbury fans turn out to an open home at the country's most successful rugby team.
risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Sharpen up! My mate John's sharpened his pencil this weekend. He's taken 19% off lamp and coffee tables and a whopping 50% off Optima beds.
And my mate John.
Here at Age Concern Otago, we offer a range of services to support Otago seniors to age well with dignity and independence. We provide social work support, visiting service, health promotion and social activities. Check out what we have on offer at ageconcernotago.com.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Drive away your way with 3 incredible offers on the Honda CR-V Adventure Ready range. Choose from 2.9% finance with zero deposit, third finance, or lease a new CR-V from just $136 per week. These offers are only available for a limited time, so be in quick. From Honda.
Aero, used by Australia's top bowlers with their unique Z-scoop grip that redefines the game. Machined with robotics for unparalleled accuracy, Aero, same line, every time.
The sun may be lower in the sky, but that doesn't lower the risk from skin cancer. Melanoma doesn't care about the season and will continue growing regardless. Don't let shorter days shorten your days. Book a full body mole map now.
Welcome back. Well, anticipation is high for rugby fans across the country as the 2023 NPC rugby season prepares to kick off on Friday. At Invercargill, the Southland Stags are hoping to change up the game this season, making some adjustments to their team and their approach.
Despite the cool conditions, the Stags squad are training hard this week as the NPC rugby season looms. The Southland team has a busy schedule ahead with 10 games over 9 weeks. But Director of Rugby Matt Saunders is feeling confident.
Yeah, we've got high expectations. So yeah, we just can't wait to get into it. We've had Friday game and now Sunday. It's quite long for the lads, so they're very excited at the moment.
Ambitious goals as the team kick off their season this Sunday with a clash against the 2021 champions Waikato. And, rather than being intimidated by their opponents, the Southlanders are seeing jumping in the deep end as a real opportunity.
They're looking good in their pre-season. We're ready to go though, we're excited. We're up for the challenge and I just couldn't get a better opportunity than the champs first up.
The team's 2023 lineup has a strong mix of veterans and new arrivals, with a focus on recruiting skilled players who also reflect a good example for the younger generation.
We've got some real quality guys, but it's going to be the team coming together. Yeah, that's always been the Southland strength, and that's what we want to keep. Just work really hard for each other and just get better and better at rugby as we go.
The 2023 NPC season kicks off on Friday, with Otago set to face off against Tasman in Nelson. And in Invercargill, the South today.
Well, the oldest rugby union in the country opened its doors to the public for a look around behind the scenes for the first time ever this week. Fans swamped the Canterbury Rugby Football Union's headquarters, hoping to get up close with their rugby heroes.
A rare chance for members of the public to peek behind the curtain of local rugby. Rugby Park is the headquarters of the Canterbury Rugby Football Union, the country's oldest union, opening their doors to the public for the first time this week.
This was the original gym that the Crusaders used. Now this space is used by our academy.
Organisers held the one-off event to help foster a stronger connection between the rugby community and its supporters.
Read, Dan Carter down there. Dan Carter. Oh yeah, Dan Carter.
Around 600 rugby fans took the opportunity to check out the Crusaders' high-performance facility.
Got a nice big turf down the middle. As you can see up on the top there, it's got all the titles that the Canterbury team's won over the years.
Some players from the Crusaders and Canterbury NPC squads were also on hand, manning the barbecue, meeting and greeting fans and joining in with informal skills and drill sessions with excited youngsters. Rugby fan Murray Ward's taken the opportunity to get autographs from the female rugby players.
Catching up with the young girls here now while doing this, because I think women's rugby at the moment is far better than the men's rugby, because it's more open, it's faster.
Organisers were delighted with the success of the inaugural event and will consider running it again next year. In Christchurch, the South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. A group of Otago University students are running for men's mental health as they take on the Dunedin Marathon. Restoration of rare World War II Vickers Wildebeest aircraft gets a boost thanks to a loan of an equally rare plane. And the FIFA Women's World Cup bids farewell to Dunedin as Switzerland advance to the next stage. Now look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. We welcome Associate Editor Mike Houlihan. Mike, what's in tomorrow's paper?
Evening, Dan. Well, following on from the football, we've now got the big sporting event for this week, of course, which is the Bledisloe Cup Rugby Test. We've got a big preview of that running in tomorrow, both on the front page and in the sports tabloid.
Good.
We've got news of Kawangaora putting their money into some more housing developments in Dunedin.
Oh, that should be good.
We have got news that it was the warmest July since weather records began in Dunedin. So never mind the snow on the hills, it really was warm out there during the last month. Relatively. Well, indeed. And also Inside Out, our lifestyle section tomorrow, has a gardening article about what's best to plant in August.
Very good. Helpful if you want to get outdoors. Yeah.
Indeed.
Excellent. Thanks, Mike. Time now for a look at tomorrow's weather.
The South Today weather, proudly brought to you by MoleMap, the skin cancer detection specialists.
Starting with the situation, a front will bring a cold southwesterly change to the region tomorrow with a period of showers and gusty winds, but more settled weather is expected over the weekend. Heading to the top of the South Island and light southwesterlies and fine for Nelson and Greymouth with 14 degrees. Christchurch expect light winds, fine and 16. Travelling to South Canterbury and North Otago, there'll be moderate nor'westerlies with high cloud increasing for Ashburton, Timaru and Oamaru, highs of 15 degrees across the board. Westwards to the Central Lakes and expect fresh westerlies and late showers here. 13 for Wanaka, 11 in Queenstown and a high of 14 for Alexandra. Heading further south, the southwesterly change will bring showers to Balclutha and Gore, 12 degrees apiece there. Those showers will arrive later in the Catlins with a high of 13. And across to Invercargill, cloud increasing tonight with westerlies freshening. Tomorrow, showers developing again during the morning with fresh, cold southwesterlies. Showers clearing at night, a high of 11 and a low of 4. And for Saturday, becoming fine, sunny with light variable winds and a high of 10 degrees. Finally, heading to Dunedin, mostly cloudy tonight with westerly winds and a low of 8. Fine and mild tomorrow with high cloud and moderate nor'westerlies. Showers and strong cold southwesterlies develop late afternoon. That'll clear at night with winds decreasing. A high of 14 and a low of 4 tomorrow. For Saturday, fine but mostly cloudy with moderate nor'easterlies developing. Looking for a high of 10 degrees. And that's the news this Thursday. For the latest news and videos from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz. You can follow Channel 39 on YouTube to catch our news bulletins on demand. And our favourite stories are on Facebook. Just search for The South Today NZ. We'll see you again tomorrow. Ka kitea popo.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.